Play it for me.
Well, I don't think I can remember.
If she can stand it, I can.
Good to go. Here we are. Helmets and Headbands. Episode 18, almost to the big 2-0. We're gonna keep it short and sweet tonight for you guys. We're basically gonna just touch on the Super Bowl a little bit. If you guys want like a full Super Bowl breakdown, you can go to last week's episode. We talk about the Super Bowl for a solid 15 to 25 minutes, I would guess.
We had a good discussion on it.
Yeah.
The episode only dropped a few days ago.
Yep.
Since we're here doing the disc golf show. Talk about it.
Yep. So we are going to kick it off with our weekend winners. I haven't really thought about it. I'm just going to kind of think of it on the fly.
Yeah, I can give you one right now.
Okay, yeah, you go.
It'll just slide into where
Our first segment. Well, then do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you
okay.
go first.
Just
have something different because I'm going to mention that.
Okay, you're going to mention that. Okay. I am going to go with Okay. It's up in the air. It's going to be, well, Charlotte has been shopping
Kemba?
No, I'm changing it. I was going to do whatever team gets Kemba Walker because they've kind of been shopping him. But I'm going to switch it up and go to Log's team, the OKC Thunder. They've won, he let me know last night, 8 straight. They seem like they're finding a groove. I mean, it took them a little bit, but when you have the star like Russell Westbrook leading your team, I'm sure it's going to be a little bit of a rough start for anybody. I'm sorry. He just seems like he'd be a psycho to play with. Not saying I wouldn't want to play with him.
Anything like that.
I mean, I could probably make the NBA, you know.
Did you see him stare down Boogie?
It was great.
Game?
Oh, man.
Did you see the dunk first, though? Straight fool.
Embiid?
Granted, he's
in that situation. Embiid should win that.
Yes, he should. Because Russ
Because
didn't do anything but he just stood there.
And he took the contact. People are freaking out.
Yeah.
And you know what I heard? I heard on the Hoop Collective today, they were saying how amazing of a dunk it was for Embiid. And when I watched the highlight, I was not impressed with the dunk.
He dunked over a 6'5" guy who didn't jump. He just stood there like this.
And they acted like he was flying like Michael Jordan from the free throw line. They're like, oh, his extension and everything.
I was actually watching it live, and as it progressed, it was dope. The crowd went nuts.
Well, of course the crowd's going to go nuts, but it just didn't.
Better live.
Yeah, okay. It just didn't seem, in the highlights I saw, it did not seem.
Was like mean mugging him.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
I don't know. It didn't seem like.
No, the Thunder's a good answer because I've been on record the first couple episodes of the new year we did. I was like, man, this Thunder team it's just Paul George feels like the odd man out, and it's just Carmelo has a weird role. Dude, Paul George has been awesome last month. He's been awesome. His percentage is high. His points are a little bit down from career average, which rightfully so when you're on the team with Carmelo. But one piece to the Thunder that is like the link in their chain is Steven Adams.
Yeah, for real.
Is so underrated. He is a beast down low.
He really is.
Big, strong center, athletic, can rebound, putbacks. Dude, I'm telling you, he's the one that really makes that team.
Yeah. I mean, he's like
underrated.
Like the 2010 to 2012-13 era Bulls with Joakim Noah.
Yeah, he does a lot of the stuff Joe did. Plays hard defense and can get the scrappy point.
And riles the guys up. He's like a Draymond Green for them. He does the dirty stuff, and he's like their fuel emotionally.
But he's less of the vocal leader.
Yeah.
To me, he's guys that can just
he does it, and it's like,
he
okay.
Just shows you on the court. Like,
yeah.
Gonna play. He plays.
I had him last year in fantasy. I wish I had him this year again because he is a machine. Yeah.
Just doing all the dirty work.
I bet he's averaging close to 20 to 25 in our format.
Oh, in fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been awesome. But that's a good winner. I like that, especially off the.
What about you?
I'm gonna do just from the breaking news that has come out, the Blake Griffin trade.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sort of weave that into my weekend winner.
It's crazy.
I don't know who won the trade yet, but I think anytime the Pistons get rid of a couple of pieces that aren't, I mean, Tobias, I guess I'll reverse. Clippers traded Blake Griffin solely for Avery Bradley, Tobias Harris, Boban Marjanovic, and a first-round pick protected this year and a second-round pick next year. So that's a pretty big pot. Avery Bradley's a good.
Just so you're aware, he doesn't have any of that pulled up or written anywhere. He just named that whole trade off the top of his dome. So that's pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, I've been following when.
I know, but still, that was impressive.
Shout out to Adrian Wojnarowski. The guy is like clockwork.
He's like the Schefter of NBA.
He's
yeah.
Incredible. So I got the update that the trade might happen. I was like, all right, well, anytime you see any of these streaming sites that updates, I'm like, well, it could happen, could not happen, we don't know.
Damn.
Then it was like, hey, this is what it could be, and then it was like, here it is.
Yep, and it's gone.
And I was like, well, shit.
I know, and it's kind of crazy because I almost heard more rumblings about them trying to move DeAndre
for the last month.
And then Blake is the one that comes out of the woodwork being
within
gone.
The last couple hours, we're like supposed to be like, oh shit, here's Blake on the Detroit Pistons. But I think the Pistons are the winner because even though you're getting he's been injured, he has these little injuries that do kind of pile up, but
it's a star draw.
He's obviously the 2010 5-5 type of player.
Yeah.
I think
when he's
alongside
healthy.
Andre Drummond, it's going to be a dominant.
I forgot that Drummond was
even
there.
Think about that duo. That means Drummond can kind of stay down low and bang like he likes to do. That old type of player that he is, and now Blake's the stretch four, the guy that's he's gonna space that whole team out.
Yeah, for real.
But I think
it's an interesting ad for Stan Van Gundy. I think he's one of the few head coach and GMs. I think.
Yeah, and I think
that's a good move.
Which is weird because they just brought in Avery. Now they just
does it. Just initially, when you saw the trade with the picks and everybody going, did you initially think, for how injury-prone Blake has been, oh wow, that they gave up maybe more than they needed to?
Yeah.
You think?
Because I think Tobias Harris is kind of a poor man's Blake Griffin. If you're not an diehard NBA fan,
probably don't know who he is.
Who Tobias Harris is, but so he's around the same size as Blake Griffin. He plays a lot of the same type of basketball that Blake does, sort of the stretch four, who's strong, who can score. He's had flashes when he was on the Magic. Now he's on the Pistons.
I was gonna say,
he's a good player. I like Tobias Harris.
So do I, and I was just gonna say, honestly, people might remember him more when he was on the Magic
because he had more of a role.
He really did.
He kind of took a step back
When he
on the
went to
Pistons.
Detroit, yeah.
It's been Drummond and it's
And Reggie Jackson.
I think as far as for the Pistons, they gave up Bradley, they gave up Harris, and they gave up Boban, who's kind of like a what if type of player, so it's kind of like a lottery piece. But so if you look at what the Clippers are now going to put in, or excuse me, the Pistons are going to like put in their lineup now. So they don't really. So they lost Tobias Harris, but they got Blake Griffin.
Yep.
And they lost Avery Bradley, but that's going to open up that 2-guard spot for their draft pick, the Luke Kennard.
Yep.
The guy out of Duke that everybody loves.
Everybody's been high on him.
I mean, he just hasn't had the role as his role hasn't been as expanded because they did go out and get Avery Bradley. So now that Bradley's gone, it's going to open things up for Kennard, and now they have Blake Griffin, and so they didn't really lose anything this year. So I think I like it for the Pistons. I hope Blake can stay healthy. I've always been a fan of his game.
It would be nice to see Detroit rise to prominence again in any sport, you know, just because the city's had it rough ever since like the real estate and
stuff. The city is behind those teams.
Yeah.
Heavy. Dude,
heavy.
Yeah. I have Luke and I have family in Michigan, and they're Red Wings, Lions. Like they love their teams. Tigers. They're diehards. So.
I was in Detroit last year for work, actually delivering trees for our Million Trees project, and the downtown is pretty cool. Like,
I've never been.
I mean, there's some rundown parts, but just like any big city, I mean, there's some bad parts. But it was a cool city. I went by the Palace, and Palace of Auburn Hills, and I went and saw like where the Pistons played before they opened the new one downtown now. But then even before, when like Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys, I went by their old one and stuff. It's cool. Yeah, they really do.
Good. As of recent, like Chauncey. Tayshaun Prince.
Yeah.
And Ben Wallace and Rasheed.
Yeah, I mean they won a title in 05.
That's what I mean. So
or maybe 06.
That trade,
06.
That trade
Spurs was 05.
Comes in my opinion that comes out of no.
It really honestly does.
Saying, like,
they were talking
about
DeAndre.
DeAndre forever, and him being the one being traded. The whole Mavericks thing.
Yeah.
Where he was supposed to go to the Mavs, and then Blake and everybody locked him in the house, and they
made him
come back. And so it's just, dude, it's so fun in the NBA when it's so unpredictable. Never could have told me this morning that Blake Griffin wasn't going to be on the Clippers.
And people were thinking he was going to go to, I mean, he still probably could, but they were thinking he could go to OKC, back to Oklahoma.
And I as I was scrolling through the news feed and stuff, I saw that the Pistons, with that deal, are taking on Blake Griffin's contract, which includes $150 million in guaranteed.
Holy crap.
That's awesome for the Clippers. Think about how much that opens. They got Tobias Harris, which is he's a good role player. He can sort of play like the 2 or 3 role. He's a good player. He is. Avery Bradley's a defensive specialist who can hit shots. But I think now if they trade DeAndre, if they trade Williams, their cap is going to be wide open.
I think they should keep Lou Williams.
I mean, but as far as right now, just blow everything up. Get as many assets as you can and start to rebuild. Because a player like
you're under new ownership and everything, you might as well.
A player like Lou,
because honestly, that franchise was done when Chris Paul left. I mean, let's face it.
One thing they're like, man, we got to start. And I mean, they are trying to, instead of win now or be mediocre now,
they're looking for the future.
We're breaking this down. Let's just do it while we have it, while Blake's healthy, while he's still relevant.
I feel like they've gained a loyal fan base over the last 10 years or so, like a bit, like a real, like a legit fan base, not like back in the day. And so, yeah, I don't think they're gonna have a fall off in their attendance or anything like that going through a rebuild, because there are diehard Clipper fans, and they're in LA.
So big.
Even people, think about all the tourists that go to all the games just because they're there, you know, and they happen to be there when one's going on.
So it's a fun thing that happens.
Yeah.
One really sad thing about the NBA is injuries. Shout out to DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
Tore or ruptured his Achilles tendon, and I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He went up for like the last rebound of the game.
And boom.
Just blew his.
That's crazy.
And it sucks so bad. He was having a career year. The New Orleans Pelicans were on the rise. They were going to make the playoffs.
Seriously.
That was going to be a nightmare matchup for him. Trying to beat Anthony Davis and Boogie
Would be rough. It's going to be rough on even the Warriors.
It's going to be really fun to watch. And, I mean, as someone who had him on their fantasy team, he was a cornerstone.
Yeah.
He was the reason why I was having such a solely. I mean, my other pieces are put together, but when you have a guy like Boogie Cousins, so consistent.
Yeah, for real.
Does everything. He's a beast. He played up until that point. He's been super healthy.
Yep.
He hasn't missed a single minute, pretty much, that he's really, locked into. So I hate injuries. Andre Robertson, he's out for the year. I just saw Mike Conley.
Yeah, that was rough. What was that? Like in his shoulder or something?
I
don't remember.
Was out for the year.
Yep.
Mike Conley, they're shutting down for the year now because of his ankle. So
and he's been out basically the whole year already.
The whole year too. I think it might even be the same ankle he had problems with last year. Yeah, I hate injuries in any sports because those teams, they can't be at their full potential, and you want to see every team at their full.
Yeah.
I hate seeing DeMarcus. Sucks.
It really does. But I mean, that might do it for us.
Well, let's dive a little bit in the Super Bowl, just because I wanted to mention one thing that I always think is funny. They did the Madden simulation.
Yeah.
Where they simulate.
Oh yeah.
Who do you think won?
The Patriots.
It was closer than 24.
Patriots. Yeah.
But I think that's a lot how the game's gonna go.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be. I don't know if Kid was just crazy on the last episode, but he said
it was crazy high.
It was like 46 to 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like.
He thought they were just gonna ball on him.
There's no way. Every time the Patriots play in a championship game or a Super Bowl,
it's low scoring.
Very close. Always. It's always a close game. Comes down to some wild Edelman catch or something
an interception.
Like that. But I think it boils down to Brady's the GOAT. The Eagles' offense has been good and has been stout, but going up against any of the statistics or any of that shit goes out the window. You have Brady, you have the engine of the Patriots against a backup quarterback, and there's almost no way that I feel like.
I'm seeing on the ESPN app right now, Roger Goodell is concerned with the catch rule, and he's pushing for a change.
Roger, you think you might be able to be concerned about it?
And it says after nearly a decade of complaints from coaches, players, and fans, he's
nobody knows what a catch is. No one. We don't know.
That's funny.
It all boils down to there's a couple of catches that I can think of. I think of catch rule was the Calvin Johnson against the Bears, and it was the Des Bryant in the playoffs against the
Packers. Yeah,
where Calvin Johnson clearly, very very clearly
caught the ball,
a touchdown, but the ball just didn't he set the ball down or pushed off or I was gonna get
he
caught
it and in the process of him getting tackled
rolled over.
Defender had his back and kind of
oh man.
As he was sitting down to the ground, the ball from both hands, had it in
the one.
And going down to the normal person would put their hand
and he braced himself.
And then when he did that, the ball slipped out of his hand. But I mean,
he was already in the touchdown, rolling over.
Yeah.
They were tackling him just because. Clearly, but because of the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Dope. But what? And then the Des Bryant, what do you want? What do you want a wide receiver? He's trying to win the game. He caught the football. He's lunging for the goal line. He already had the football in his hands.
Yeah.
He already had possession. He was lunging for
and right when it crosses the plane, it should count as a touchdown. Especially when he catches it beforehand and he's going over the plane with it.
He already had the dexterity and the willingness to grab the ball and then lunge forward with the football in his hand. So
it's crazy.
It's funny.
It's a funny headline.
Roger Goodell concerned with catch rule. You think?
Yeah.
You think you might be able to be concerned?
Ooh. since this is, I know it's helmets and headbands, but we try to touch on major sports.
Oh, Roger Federer.
Australian Open.
I meant to mention. I'm
Carolyn
glad you mentioned that.
Carolyn Wozniacki. She could have been a good weekend winner. She won her first
said
Grand
Federer.
Slam title, and
I didn't have
Federer
time.
hit his
I'm a Federer
20th.
guy, too.
Yeah, he's the second oldest to win a Grand Slam title at 36 years old. Last guy was 37. I forget the name, but
The craziest part about that match was I just got home from the night we were at Luke's all night long. It was late
Yeah.
as shit. And I was like, I ended up just kind of weaseling to bed. I always just turn on ESPN just to the last 15, 20 minutes. Like, yeah, the Federer match is on. So I watched the first couple matches.
yeah, first couple sets.
But
It's insane.
I'm not even the biggest tennis fan, but when the Australian Open comes around and some of the bigger
Yeah,
majors, I
the
like to watch.
I love watching all the majors.
Incredible scene.
And one thing I heard him talk about today is why it could be like that is when he came in, he was very backhand centric and placement and the basics, and that's what made him a monster. And then he turned more into power from the baseline because of Nadal and Murray and Joker. So he ended up now that he's older, he's gone back to more backhand, coming to the net, placement, and I mean it's paying off. He's
what's the guy,
still a huge
Chilich
set.
or whatever the guy's
Yeah.
name was? There was points during that with the first couple of
the whole thing is a match,
Well,
but like
what's
the
the
individual things are
the
sets.
first set was
Yep, they play set.
yeah,
Game set match.
The first set there was a couple of games within that set
Yeah.
where Chilich didn't even get a single point. And
Yeah.
you could tell he was so flustered by it wasn't anything. It was just placement.
Placement, yeah.
Yes, Federer was always in the right spot.
Yeah.
Predicted everything that he was doing. He didn't even break a sweat and won the first. It was beautiful. It's like
Man.
poetry watching a guy like
Yeah.
especially at the highest highs.
Yeah. It really is. And yeah, shout out to them.
Also,
That's
shout
awesome.
out to Tiger Woods. He tied 27th.
He did
but
good.
Feeling better. He's progressing. I think he only hit like 3 of like 18 fairways on his final round. But I heard an interview with him. Confident in his game. He likes the way his shots are going. He said I made some really good shots out of the rough that I haven't hit in a couple of years. So
Yeah.
he's taking things slowly. He's taking things lightly. I think that's exactly what he be ready for Masters.
For
Looking
real.
forward.
Man, I just thought of something, but we'll talk about it off air.
Right.
It's gonna be good.
Well,
But yeah, I think that
That's
kind of
good.
does it for us. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to check out all the other shows that we offer on Fine Point Podcast Network. We got Log On, our gaming and entertainment show, which is really fun. Under the Basket is our disc golf show. Be sure to check that out and like, share, subscribe. Thank you for all the support.
Thank you.